CTV News with Lauren Stallone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with the blanket of snow that covered our region. With more on the impact of today's snowfall, here's Jerry Dewan.
Numerous crashes on the 400 series highways kept emergency responders busy throughout the morning. Collisions on the eastbound 402 near Colonel Talbot Road forced the OPP to close the highway for about 3 hours. The eastbound 401 near Putnam also had to be closed for a period of time.
Extremely busy. OPP here in West Region, southwestern Ontario, responding to multiple crashes, vehicles in the ditch, transport trucks turned over.
Sanchuk admits it's been a challenging winter, but says drivers can't become impatient.
Your all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive are only as good as the drivers, along with your winter tires. So please, just take your foot off that gas pedal. Arrive at your destination, but more importantly, you want to arrive home safely to your families.
He says there were clear examples of people not heeding that advice Thursday morning.
When people see flashing emergency lights, doesn't mean speed up. It means slow down and move over if safe to do so. The one crash in the 402, people were going by us doing 90 to 100 kilometers an hour on a sheet of ice. So it's just yet another crash waiting to happen.
The snow did taper off by midday, allowing road maintenance crews to get most of the roads cleaned up.
Our standard salters have been running for almost 24 hours straight now at this point, and then our larger plow equipment started early morning hours when we started to see the heavy accumulations.
But Joel Gillard says a quick freeze followed by heavy snow can create hidden dangers.
Cold temperatures have a layer of ice underneath this snow, so as we clean it up, you're still going to have slippery conditions until we're able to treat them.
One issue the city is closely monitoring is the road salt supply.
Luckily, we're okay. I know some other municipalities are having some challenges with resourcing salt. We've had steady deliveries all week this week. A full day snowstorm makes it challenging for those deliveries.
Gillard says the forecast indicates the likelihood of more significant snowfall events right through until the end of this month. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Heavy snowfall north of London today as well, with widespread school and road closures. As Scott Miller reports, drivers are now being directed to one website for the latest on conditions across the region.
A rapid return to winter closed some roads and all schools across Midwestern Ontario today.
I don't think it's over yet, Scott.
As the weather turned ugly, motorists started the frantic search to find out exactly what roads were open and what was closed. Solden says this winter, the OPP detachments in Huron, Perth, Bruce Grey, and Wellington counties all started using the Municipal 511 website as a one-stop shop for road conditions and road closures across the region.
It was confusing maybe a little bit before, too, because motorists thought, okay, where do I get this information? Where's the best place? Where's the most trusted platform to get the road closure information? And we still utilize X, we utilize Instagram, we utilize Facebook. But people would like to know, okay, just send me one place where it's accurate and up to date.
Solden says the Municipal 511 site is updated directly by the people who are opening and closing the roads, making it quicker and more accurate than previous methods.
Our supervisors go in and add the closures, and then they also do the openings when the road is reopened. So that's in real time and it's immediate. So we are the ones that close the roads, and we're the ones that go in and manage that in the Municipal 511 site.
Solden says the Municipal 511 site also has real-time photos from MTO cameras, road conditions, and other traffic hazards.
Municipal 511 is the most up-to-date, most accurate source for your road closure information for weather-related closures from the police.
In Huron County, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Officials with Reptilia say their 2.5-year legal dispute with City Hall is settled. On top of that, the indoor zoo has now received national authorization. With the latest on these developments, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Being a new member of the City of London, it was a top priority for us.
According to Reptilia, its years-long legal dispute with the City of London about displaying exotic animals is over, having been amicably resolved. In early 2023, Council voted against amending the animal control bylaw to permit displaying exotic species at the indoor zoo. But weeks later, Reptilia still opened, arguing its provincial license superseded the municipal bylaw. So that June, the city filed a notice of application in Superior Court that sought to declare Reptilia not exempted from the animal control bylaw and an order restraining Reptilia from contravening the animal control bylaw by keeping prohibited animals. Reptilia says it's now glad that the disagreement is over and they can move forward.
That was very troubling for us, and so now that everything is settled, it feels extremely positive, and not only for the staff, but the public.
City Hall's legal department is providing no clarity to the public about why or how it resolved the dispute with Reptilia, telling us in a statement they don't provide comments on legal matters. The city is simply confirming that, quote, the animal control bylaw remains in effect and any new establishments would have to comply with its provisions. Zoo Check Canada says the public deserves greater transparency from City Hall.
I can't imagine what kind of settlement could have happened given the way the bylaw is worded, and it does not appear that the bylaw has been changed. So just complete lack of transparency. If a settlement has been reached, certainly the public should be made aware of it.
Meanwhile, Reptilia's London location has received accreditation from CAZA. Canada's accredited zoos and aquariums accepted its membership after a review of its facility and operations.
It confirms that practices have been independently reviewed, and it holds us accountable to the same expectations as Canada's other leading zoological institutions.
Reptilia says its recent CAZA accreditation will also see it participate in local conservation efforts. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
2 weeks into the province's new rules for blue box collection, and many London business owners say they're struggling with the changes. As Rita Ismail reports, there's no straightforward fix from City Hall.
The responsibility for London's Blue Box program has moved from the city to Circular Materials, the producer responsibility organization that now runs residential curbside collection. But under provincial rules, that service does not include businesses.
Our producers have already paying hundreds of millions of dollars. So, one question would be who would pay for providing the service? And then second, right now we would be asked to after the fact, somehow find a way to exclude that material or set it aside from the other material we collect. We wouldn't be able to commingle it and report it as part of our performance reporting. And we just think that doesn't make sense.
The Ministry of Environment says producer responsibility organizations were never meant to collect recycling from industrial, commercial, or institutional sources, and that municipalities can choose to offer small business pickup if they wish. London's mayor says that option simply isn't realistic.
For us to be able to do that, we would have to build an entirely new recycling program from the ground up to service those 500 businesses. And we would run into two significant challenges there. One, it would be exceptionally costly because we would have to design a whole new program. And two, we would be in the situation where we're advantaging some businesses over others because we were never picking up recycling for all businesses in the city. We were only doing those 500 that were on those existing routes because it just made sense for us to do it.
Meanwhile, local business leaders say the rollout was poorly communicated.
We are quite disappointed because of the lack of planning by the provincial government, and the municipal government, because while the change has gone from the city paying for the recycling to the producers of those materials, which is great, there wasn't any thought of how could this negatively impact the small business people. And so we're an afterthought now.
Businesses are now looking at ways to collaborate and secure more affordable private recycling. For now, with no real municipal plan to step in and no service from Circular Materials, hundreds of London shop owners are left to sort it out on their own. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
A former London Police Services board member is returning to the board, filling a vacancy.
That I will, to the best of my ability, discharge my duties as a member of the London Police Service Board faithfully, impartially, and according to the law and any rules, procedures, and bylaws of the board.
Jeffrey Lang is the current president and CEO of the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. He was sworn in as the newest London Police Board member this morning. Lang fills the seat left vacant after Haley Faulkner stepped down back in the fall. He previously served on the board from 2019 to 2021. A documentary at the center of criminal charges against the creator of Creeper Hunter TV will premiere on broadcast television this weekend. The documentary is called Shamed, which screened at the Forest City Film Festival last year. The subject of the film, Jason Nasser, was criminally charged by London police, who say he attended the screening, violating several court orders, preventing him from contacting people who were also at the screening. The documentary will air Sunday evening on TVO. The future of pipeline carrying oil into central Canada is under threat of shutting down. Brian Bicknell has more on the legal battle over Line 5 and what it could mean for thousands of jobs in Sarnia-Lambton.
Enbridge's Line 5 pipeline carries oil and gas from Wisconsin to Canada, passing through both Michigan peninsulas and the straits between Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. Enbridge sued Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer to block the state from shutting the pipeline down. Last month, a federal district judge sided with Enbridge. But now Sarnia Mayor Mike Bradley says he's grown frustrated the governor is appealing that decision.
It's very frustrating to have our biggest trading partners at state, the governor continually not accepting the verdicts of the court and not listening to Canadians how important. That line brings in 3,000 to 5,000 jobs in Sarnia-Lambton alone.
The pipeline has been in operation for more than 70 years, and it provides critical energy to both central Canada and the U.S. Midwest. In addition to the Michigan governor, others who want it shut down include environmental and Indigenous groups over concerns that it could leak. But Bradley says those concerns are being addressed.
The key, though, is to get Enbridge to spend the $500 million to protect the pipeline in the Mackinac Straits, and then let us get on with operating the pipeline properly without any insecurity. And I support the $500 million being spent, and I wouldn't have supported Enbridge if they didn't do that. But what we need now is the governor of Michigan to respect what is happening in Canada.
Enbridge has proposed building a tunnel to house the pipeline under the Straits of Mackinac instead of its current placement on the lake bed. Its application is being considered by the State Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Coming up, one woman's work is small in size but leaves a lasting impression. Canada's main stock index was up on the strength of the industrial and financial sectors. In Toronto, the TSX gained 112 points, while in New York, the Dow added 293 and the Nasdaq is up 58. The Canadian dollar lost 1/10 of a cent today, and on commodity markets, gold fell $12 an ounce and oil dropped $2.80 a barrel. The Prime Minister is in China right now at the start of what could be a new era in relations between our countries. After the first day of talks, officials signed trade and economic cooperation agreements to boost exports. However, there's been no breakthrough in reducing tariffs on canola or seafood. Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
A grand ceremony full of pageantry in China's House of Political Power, marking the restart of a Canada-China relationship that has been largely non-existent for years.
I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order. It's a partnership with new focus and greater depth and a sense of purpose.
Prime Minister Mark Carney receiving a warm welcome from various Chinese leaders Thursday, who said bilateral relations have hit a turning point.
China is prepared to work with Canada to follow through on the important consensus between our leaders and move forward our strategic partnership on a trajectory of healthy, steady, and sustainable development.
Agreements signed today pledge greater dialogue in areas including forestry, tourism, culture, and food safety. On energy, the pact recognizes Canada as an important potential partner in oil and gas.
What we heard loud and clear is China is looking for reliable trading partners that don't use energy for coercion.
So far, there has been no agreement publicly about tariffs, but Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe, who has been outspoken about the need to remove canola tariffs, was invited to sit in on a meeting with Premier Li. Tomorrow, Prime Minister Mark Carney will meet with Xi Jinping. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Beijing, China.
Global affair officials say they are aware of the death of a Canadian in Iran as the UN holds an emergency meeting on the brutal crackdown on demonstrators. With more on today's developments, here's Mike LeCouture.
as anti-government protests blanketed Iran in recent weeks. We're learning a Canadian has died in the hands of Iranian authorities. In a post on social media, the Foreign Affairs Minister said, "Our consular officials are in contact with the victim's family in Canada, and my deepest condolences are with them at this time." While supporting the peaceful protests, Anita Anand said Canada condemns and calls for an immediate end to the Iranian regime's violence. According to some estimates, at least 2,500 people have been killed since the Iranian regime began cracking down on protesters. The White House says 800 executions were scheduled for today, but President Trump has been given assurances they will not happen.
The president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences.
Perhaps a glimpse of some of those consequences, the U.S. Treasury Secretary announced sanctions against key members of the Iranian government.
Iran's leaders have brutally responded to peaceful demonstrations with violence, from mass shootings in the street to attacks on wounded victims in hospitals.
In an apparent appeal to the Trump administration, a video message from the exiled Crown Prince of Iran laid out his aspirations for the country if the current regime is toppled.
A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism.
Now, that can only happen if the Islamic Republic is ousted. Meanwhile, with the recent crackdown on protesters, Canadians are being urged by Global Affairs Canada to leave Iran now. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Still dealing with some blowing snow overnight, especially in those outlying rural areas. We've had a lot of light, fluffy snow fall over the last 24 hours. And of course, with the winds, that is whipping across area highways. Still some very icy conditions and still lots of snow-covered roads out there. So please take your time as we head into tomorrow morning. Calmer conditions to start the day, but overnight lows with wind chills. It'll feel close to -22 to -24. A bitterly cold start to the day. Partly cloudy at -12 first thing in the morning and -9 and cloudy. Thanks, Angela, for this photo of Oakley. I'm not sure if Oakley likes the snow or not, but definitely having more snow in the forecast. So hopefully getting used to some snowy conditions. Stay with us. We'll have your local weather next.
Julie is here now with your full weather forecast. Julie?
Hey, thanks so much, Lauren. It's cold out there tonight. We're talking wind chills from -18 to -24 in southern Ontario. Still digging out after a winter wallop in terms of snowfall amounts. Generally, most areas picking up 10+ centimeters. South London reporting 35 centimeters of snow. So we had a bit of a combo, a weather system coming in, followed by lake effect snow. Still that lake effect snow plaguing parts of eastern Lambton County, western Middlesex through the late evening with blowing snow. Still some blowing snow out there tonight, of course, so that's whipping across the highway. Icy conditions and a lot of snow-covered roads. So take your time. Of course, it takes time to clear all of the side roads as well. -9 our high today, -14 our low. Getting even colder overnight with wind chills close to -20 to -24. So in terms of our forecast, we do have a ridge of high pressure briefly building in, but it's just coming through overnight. So it brought us a few breaks in the cloud cover in some areas as we moved into the late afternoon and shutting down the winds. The winds will be coming out of the southwest heading into tomorrow. So this mess of weather that's now moved well off to the east, a bit of a break. We will see some breaks in the cloud, as I mentioned, overnight, but it's getting very cold out there and you can really feel that frigid air mass moving in. Another weather system coming in for your Friday, just what you want to hear, I know. In terms of snowfall amounts, this one bringing much less in terms of accumulating a snowfall. We are expecting the snow to arrive Friday by about lunchtime. Overnight, mainly cloudy, as I mentioned, -15 to -17, a bit milder along that lakeshore. Heading into tomorrow morning, a frigid start to the day. Clouds quickly fill in, mainly cloudy conditions across the area Friday afternoon. And then here comes our next round of snowfall. This one bringing 2 to 4 centimeters to start, and then the potential for another 2 to 4 centimeters in the evening. That's enough to make the roads quite greasy, of course, and get the plows back out. So we do have this active weather moving through once again. Temperatures will recover a bit tomorrow afternoon, though, so we are expecting to make it to about -2. Another little round of snow coming in Saturday morning, and then Saturday afternoon skies will stay cloudy. Flurries in the forecast over the weekend. The latest forecast model shows the snowfall analysis over the next 36 hours in London, close to 8 centimeters possible with this next system. Again, that's reading on the higher end. The forecast model played out pretty well last night. I was expecting it to be a bit less in terms of snowfall, so definitely watching this next one. -2 for your Friday afternoon. Snowfall will continue through the better part of the day with another round coming in Friday night. -2 on Saturday, back down to -6 on Sunday. Temperatures early next week will average well below normal for this time of year, with daytime highs from -8 to about -11 early in the week. Flurries and blowing snow every day. Yes, flurries. Yes, January has returned to southern Ontario, and winter will hold on. -1 as we head through your Friday in Midwestern Ontario. Snowfall amounts total heading into Saturday morning, you could see upwards of 8 to 10 centimeters. That would be through the day Friday and Saturday. -6 to -8 over the weekend. Flurries and blowing snow, and that will really be an issue on the roads next week. We'll be talking about blowing snow. We do have a lot of that powdery snow out there right now, and of course anytime the wind picks up, that kicks up across the area, especially outside the city where we have a lot of open fields. Please be careful on those roads, and have a great weekend. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Julie. A 4-person crew of astronauts is back on Earth after their mission to the International Space Station was cut short because of a medical condition.
They deploy around 119 miles per hour, and they'll decelerate it down to about 15, 16 miles per hour.
The crew splashed down in the Pacific Ocean near San Diego earlier this morning, capping off a 10-hour descent from the space station. They were brought home weeks ahead of the schedule for the undisclosed condition, the first time NASA has done that because of a medical emergency. NASA officials say the crew member in question is doing fine. Canada's Privacy Commissioner is expanding his investigation into X after global backlash over Grok, the platform's chatbot. CTV's Rachel Aiello looks into AI privacy concerns and what it means for Canadians.
The Privacy Commissioner is looking into whether billionaire Elon Musk's site X and xAI, the artificial intelligence company responsible for the platform's Grok chatbot, are violating federal law. Canada's top privacy watchdog is expanding an ongoing investigation into X and the social media site's use of Canadians' personal information to train AI models. In light of growing global concern over the platform's AI chatbot Grok being prompted by users to produce non-consensual, explicit, or sexualized images of real people. The commissioner said he decided to expand his investigation to address this issue, given its importance and the potential serious harms that it may cause to Canadians.
Privacy legislation as it is currently on the books will not protect you if someone grabs your imagery online, runs it through an image generator like Grok, sexualizes it, and then shares it with their followers.
Elon Musk companies were informed about the widening probe into whether X and xAI obtained consent to use Canadians' data to create deepfakes yesterday. The same day, xAI announced it would limit Grok's ability to generate explicit images. The federal minister of AI says while Canada isn't considering banning X, there's a government bill before Parliament proposing to amend the criminal code to crack down on deepfakes. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Tonight's Slopes Report is brought to you by Buller Mountain. Winter lovers, it's shaping up to be a great weekend to hit the slopes across the region after a winter storm delivered some excellent skiing and snowboarding conditions. At Bowler Mountain, conditions are unreal. They picked up 35 centimeters of fresh powder with all 15 runs open and all 4 lifts running for skiers and snowboarders. Over at Blue Mountain, 10 centimeters of new snow has fallen. Conditions are machine groom with pockets of powder. You can ski 40 of 43 runs. Horseshoe Resort received 8 centimeters of new snow. Conditions are machine groom with 27 runs open. Cross-country skiers should note that the Pinery Provincial Park also received fresh snow, but conditions are still reported as poor, but be sure to check before heading out. Locally, Circle R Ranch picked up 15-plus centimeters of snow overnight with an additional coating today. Crews are packing the trails and building a solid base with hopes to open some trails this weekend. And for family fun, check out River Valley Tube Slide in St. Mary's. They've got 2 hills with 3 runs each, a snow base of over 100 centimeters, and they're adding fresh snow today. It's shaping up to be a stellar weekend to get out and enjoy some winter fun.
CTV News London has a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local headlines. By signing up, you'll get local news content from CTV London direct to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewslondon.ca.
A British woman who moved to Toronto last year is documenting her new home through art. She's creating a series of stamp-sized pieces celebrating the city's most iconic locations. Jessica Smith reports.
First one I did was the Trash Panda, which
Gemma Chapman is putting her own stamp on the city with an art initiative called Toonie Stamps.
I arrived in Toronto a year ago from the UK, and initially it started as a way for me to document my time here.
And has grown into a pint-sized art series documenting iconic people, places, and items, like her favorite in the collection.
This stamp with the peaches really sums up all the farmers markets, all the produce, the kind of the way the city sprawls out onto the streets.
Wanting to support local while sharing her work, the idea of an art vending machine came to life. The first location, Golden Horseshoe Barbecue on DuPont.
This is a chewing gum machine that I converted into an art dispenser. And it's really, the project is about encouraging people to come on this journey with me and learn about Toronto and fall in love with it like I have.
It's a fantastic thing to have in a place like this. Like I said, it really represents the area that we're in, and I think more restaurants should be tying into the community that they're in.
Creating a tangible piece of Toronto you can take with you.
Chapman says she plans on continuing to expand the Toonie Stamp initiative by putting more of the stamp dispensers at different locations around the city, helping people discover Toronto in a fun and accessible way. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
And with that, we're stamping out for the night. Thanks for watching. I'm Lauren Stallone. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.